The SSSC publishes codes of practice for social service workers and employers. These are standards of conduct and practice which all social service workers and their employers must follow. We spoke to people from across the sector about what these codes of practice mean to them.
I think having the code of practice makes an enormous difference. I've been in social work for more than 30 years now, and for the first 20 years we were very keen to have a regulation for who could be a social worker. So the advent of the SSSC was an enormous step forward, and I think it helps people to feel more professional, part of a professional body.
Well, when I first started in social work, there wasn't any such thing as a code of practice. It was, I think, quite shambolic in the early days, and I'm going back to the 70s, which was, just when social work was taken off in Scotland. So I think it's really vitally important to have a code of practice.
I think having a code of practice makes a huge difference, especially amongst my staff team, to have something to work towards and something to use as guidance as to where their standards should be. I think is highly important.
I think having a code of practice is really important. It's brought home to all the staff how important it is to meet all the standards that they're now regulated by. A lot of our staff have worked with us for more than 10 years, and I've worked within the care sector for many years, and I think it's made them more accountable for what they're doing.
Having a code of practice makes a huge difference. For a start, it helps new recruits feel like they're part of a profession rather than it just being a job.
I think it's very important to have a set of standards within this sector, particularly for service users, so that when they have someone coming into their home, they have someone that they can trust.
Having a code of practice makes a huge difference because all our staff are aware of it, and it underpins all our work practices.
To have a set of standards is vital because you have something to attain to. Without having that standards, you have nothing to attain to. But if you have a set of standards, then everybody has to comply with the same set of standards. So basically we're all working from the same page.
I think having a code of practice makes a big difference. A lot of our work, particularly in the statutory sector, can be quite process-driven, etc. And I think it really creates a backdrop to that about the values, the standards that we expect.
Having a code of practice makes a huge difference. It reassures service users and gives them confidence in using the service, and staff provide a high quality of standard.
I think having a code of practice does make a difference for all employers and for people who use our services. I think particularly for local authorities, when we are commissioning services and we have people who are providing services on our behalf, it also gives reassurance that there are certain standards of behaviour that is very much the same as of services that are provided within local authorities. So it actually gives a coherent set of standards.
I think a code of practice does make a difference. It ensures that all staff are competent in their practice and workforce. They become highly motivated and skilled, and they have relevant qualification to work in the early years service.
I do think having a code of practice makes a difference. I think it ensures that there's continuity between standards over services, and I think this sort of less complicates things for the service user. And these codes underpin any decisions and actions we take as workers, and therefore that sort of acts as the backbone to the service we're providing.
I think a code of practice is very important, but there are a lot of people in the workforce who have actually been working to that basis for a long time. But it just brings in the stragglers and makes sure that there's nobody falling behind.
I think having a code of practice is massive, especially for the young people, because it means that we're all working together, that we're all singing from the same hymn sheet, that we all know exactly what's expected of us, and so do the young people. It means that regardless of what we do, whether it's to do with our qualifications, our education, or the young people making a complaint, we all know exactly what's expected of us, and so do they.
They give you a basis to look at your practice, and you've got a set of codes that form the basis of your practice, and if whilst you're working with a service user, if there's gaps in your knowledge or your skills, you can take these to supervision
Codes of practice does make a difference, as in all standards. It's very important to take them on board and use them continuously and drive the workforce forward.
Yes, I do think a code of practice makes a big difference in the workforce. It helps with the professional development to give good quality care.
I think it's really important to have codes of practice, and yeah, I do think it makes a difference, again, because all the staff, everybody follows the codes of practice, we keep up to date with it again, and it's keeping us fresh.
Having a code of practice is vital, obviously, because without it, then what standards would we be working to for the good of our service users? So yes, it's absolutely vital and, if necessary, updated on a regular basis.